Bonjour, je suis Oro. Aujourd'hui, je suis sur VRChat. Je me fais interviewer par Max.
Hello, my name is Libby. I'm 18 years old and I'm from Russia.
はじめまして、どことこと言います。26歳です。VR チャットはだいたい始めて1年になりました。このゲーム、いろんな人がいてとっても楽しいので、今も楽しいです。ありがとうございました。
Hello, my name is Ezra. I'm 31 years old. I'm from the UK.
Hello, I'm Libby. I'm 26 years old, and I'm from the United States of America. And I'm here with Max doing an interview in VRChat. Yeah.
In VRChat, do you feel like there's more users of certain nationalities than others?
Yeah, I think so. Like, there's like way more English than like every other like nationality, I guess. Also, there's a lot of Koreans and Japanese people, so it's kind of like all over the place, I guess.
From different?
Like, do you hang out with more Americans? Or like, do you hang out with like more English people or more French people?
I think American.
Mostly Americans, yeah. 最もよく目にする国籍は何ですか？
わかりました。Yeah, I get it. I got it. I see that I see Japanese people because I I visit to the world where Japanese
And from my point of view, there's a lot more people from Europe than there are from like the United States. That's for sure. Like out east, there's way more people because most of my friends are like from Europe, and also have friends farther out east, like from Japan especially.
Out of those nationalities, which ones do you think are the most common?
Most common, definitely like European, specifically like from Great Britain and Russia, I would say.
I'd say there's a definite bias towards Americans. At least in my own personal experience.
So do you think Americans are the most common nationality?
Yes, I'd say so.
Do you think VR is a growing trend in your region?
Yeah, it is, especially with like the Quest stuff and like with your Quest.
Do many Japanese people have VR?
almost all Japanese doesn't have VR headsets.
Is it like expensive for Japanese people to get VR?
Expensive. I guess not interesting. Interesting.
They're not interested in it. Do you think VR is a growing trend in America?
Yes. I think it's definitely better than it was like a few years ago, because the only thing on the market was the HTC Vive, and a lot of people were still really skeptical about it. Because like before that, you had like the first gen Oculus, and that was just a set you put on your head and sit down at your desk and play games with. And people thought that was just going to be a fad, but with the release of things like the Index now and the second gen systems coming out, like VR is becoming more household now than before. I'd say yes, it's a growing trend, but still on a slow uphill battle, but it's getting there.
Maybe no.
No. Do you think VR is a growing trend in your region?
Difficult to say, simply because I don't know many British people. But overall, I would say it seems to be growing.
Oh,
Uh,
checking.
Do you think it's easy to gain access to VR from your perspective?
You mean like in a
Like,
price thing?
do you think it's easy to like buy VR in France?
Oh, it's not really easy. I mean, like, you can buy it like on like a store where you can buy like electronic stuff, but it's kind of expensive,
Yeah.
and so most of the things you do it online, and like you can buy it online.
Do you think it's easy or hard to gain access to VR in Russia?
I think no. Too.
You think it's hard to get VR? Yeah.
That depends. I'd say that's all just based on people's income, really, on what they're willing to spend for entertainment purposes. Because VR, I would say, like the entry barrier is money, like especially if you want to have a good experience. Because if you want like higher graphical fidelity and better quality overall and stuff, you're gonna have to shell out more money for a better system.
Do you think it's easy to gain access to VR where you're from?
If you have the right amount of money, then yes, it's relatively easy to purchase a VR headset.
What do you think is the target demographic in your region for VR?
Target demographic, I would say, in my region, honestly, I'm not too sure how popular VR is here, because personally I only know a few people with VR headsets and they don't use them as much as I do. I would say the target demographic is people in like middle class families to higher, because like if you're struggling with money and stuff, like VR is definitely not the thing to go for.
I think like young adults and like above. So like, I mean like, kids don't really like. I don't see kids like having many interest in VR in France.
I know a lot of people who have VR.
Yeah.
But they get it like a present.
Yeah. So would you say like not too many Russians have like VR? Yeah.
2 years ago, yes, a lot of Russian people were without VR. And nowadays, unfortunately, everyone have.
Yeah. So like a lot of Russian people do have it then?
Yep.
Or like just on like VRChat, a lot of the Russian community has VR.
Yeah.
Probably the middle class to upper class.
Being from America, do you find it easier to converse with people from different regions?
Oh yeah, like most of my friends are from out of the country. I've always had a good time talking to strangers and stuff here in VRChat, and 99% of the time people are really friendly. I think like no matter where you're from, you can make friends.
being from Europe, do you find it easier to converse with people from different regions?
Oh yeah, it's easier. Like I can play this game and talk in English. I can try to talk in English in this game, and I guess have fun with everyone.
Yeah. Being part of Europe, do you feel like it's easier to converse from people, or with people from different regions?
I'd say so, yes. From personal experience, I'd say I find it a lot easier to talk to people from other nationalities than I do my own.
Being Japanese, do you find it to be a difficult time to speak to somebody from a different country, or are you, or do you have an easier time?
It's hard time for me. For me and for almost Japanese.
What does it cost to get started with VR in your country?
I mean, like it kind of depends of like what kind of VR gear you want. Like if you want really something cheap, you can just go with $200 and buy a Windows Mixed Reality, or like go like 400 to like the Rift or the Vive. Yeah.
I think starting, the lowest you'll be paying for like the most basic thing is probably around.
Hi, Ezra. I'm
Hey,
doing
Ezra.
an interview for a school project. Just give us like. Just runs away.
How much? Like the Quest is probably like the most entry level thing, but I don't know how much that costs.
I think my brother paid like $299 for like the lowest tier of the Quest, and there's also one that's the same price as what I have, which is the Rift S, and that one was like $399, so basically $400. And
Okay,
I
so
think the Rift S is like the lowest cost, like brand name VR, I think, as it would be.
Okay. Yeah. So you said the Quest was how much? Like $200?
It's like $299.
Oh, 300. Okay.
Something.
So around $300.
Yeah.
So I'll say if you want to get started with VR to cover costs and everything, I'd say $500. That's probably the what you need to start, most basic level. But I would suggest saving for something better than an Oculus Quest.
Yeah. At least the Rift S. But
Yes,
the
at
thing
least the
about
Rift S.
VR is unless you want to get a Quest, you need a good PC.
Yes, that too. So that's also like another, ooh,
I spent
like $1,500. Like if you want to build a good PC.
That's how much I spent last summer building mine. About that, with like the monitor and everything. Because before that, I just had a laptop, a very bad laptop at that.
Yeah. So I will say. Yeah. So with a cost of VR, most basic level, and then you need, if you don't have a good PC already and you need to build one, we'll say $2,000. That's probably like what you need.
Yeah.
That would probably be a Windows mixed reality headset, which I think is roughly about 300 to 400 pounds. Great British pounds, GBP.
Then what are your main uses for VR?
Hanging out with my friends. In VRChat, that's pretty much all I use it for. I don't play any other games.
My main uses for VR, basically just VRChat. Like, I just like coming on here and talking to people.
Being from America, do you see VR plateauing or becoming more popular?
I would say I see VR becoming more popular. Most definitely. More people are getting into it. I meet a lot of first timers now, who are just experiencing VR for the very first time. Like they haven't tried it before anywhere else. And it's really great to see, because I know when I first tried VR, I definitely knew that this was going to be like the future of gaming, and especially just like entertainment at home. But at the time, I didn't really see a purpose personally for it until I started playing this game, and this game is the reason why I ended up getting in VR.
より多くの日本人が改善するにつれて VR を習得しています。Hold on. を習得していますか?
You mean if the VR headset improves more, more Japanese have VR headset.
Yeah, if as it improves, if more people are getting it.
It isn't increase.
It isn't increase.
Increase. Yeah, because そうだな。To by both high spec PC and VR headset. Yeah. It's too expensive to buy it. Almost people.
Fluctuating?
Like, do you see it declining in popularity or gaining popularity?
Oh, it's gaining popularity. Like, in my town, there's like, in like, I mean like, near my home, there's like 2 like VR arcades that's just like opened this year. So I guess it's like gaining popularity every year.
Oh.
I don't know.
I know there's like VR gaming bars in my city or whatever, and they like have like VR headsets you can go use or something. And people go there.
That's cool.
Yeah, one of my friends went to that. There's also some in the mall, but I don't know what those are because they're like VR headsets, but they're attached to like this chair. And the chair moves around with you in it.
Oh.
It must be like a flight simulator or something.
Yeah, that would make sense. I've seen like home setups like that where people build those, and like their chair moves and stuff for flying games, and also like driving stuff.
Yeah.
Like if you hit hard terrain, you'll like feel the shake in your seat and stuff, you know, it'll raise you up and down.
Yeah. I think in Russia, VR is like becoming less popular or more popular?
I think popular.
Yeah, more popular. Being from Europe, do you see the popularity of VR plateauing or becoming more popular?
I would say it's probably becoming more popular, especially with the sort of Valve's release of Half-Life Alyx and more support in general for VR games. I think it's rising, but quite slowly.